Afternoon, Brendan.
Hi, Ron. Yeah, good afternoon.
We're working on the basis, and you will probably be able to tell us, given that this is embargoed, that James has made it.
Yeah, well, it's embargoed until it's finished, so yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
To discuss.
Yeah.
Has he proved, do you think, simply too good to ignore?
Well, listen, firstly, it's wonderful news for James and his family and everyone, obviously, here at Leicester. I'm also delighted for Gareth, from a coaching perspective, to have that talent available in which is such a great tournament. So, but yeah, I think his level of consistency and the work ethic and the talent and what he's proven over these last few years has swung that sort of decision for him, because he's a fantastic player and one of the best players in the Premier League. So really, really delighted for him, and obviously, of course, he had all his teammates, because without them, then it's difficult to also play to the level that he's been at.
One of his teammates, Timothy Castagna, who we spoke to this morning, said that he felt James had been playing with a little bit of a bit between his teeth, a real desire to prove something to the England manager. Is that something you felt watching him, particularly over the last couple of months?
Not really, no. I've just seen him wanting to prove the point to himself, and that he can keep improving and develop. And I've always sensed with James that desire to improve and be the best that he can be. When I spoke to him, obviously this morning, just anticipating either way, because at that stage we obviously didn't know. My case was really reinforcing about the next World Cup. You know, however it goes, whether you get the decision or not, it's really about trying to keep progressing and developing, and he's got that mentality to do that. So yeah, it's great news for him, and like I say, great for his country.
Knowing him as you do you also see now that will be a real desire for him not just to go there and be a good squad member, but to really force himself into Gareth's thoughts for playing regular minutes as long as England are in the competition?
Well, that's just, listen, the most important thing for James, having had one cap before, was about getting there. And I think when he gets there, you just never know what happens in World Cup. Sometimes you get a bit of luck, goes your way. But he's going to have training sessions. He's going to have opportunities off the pitch as well to show his whole package. There's other top players there, but I think he's in the mix, and like I said, I'm delighted for him.
Just to look at your own team then, as we head into the final game before the break, a real improved performance and results in recent weeks. So many times now in football, it seems that the default setting is to change things, to change a manager particularly. Has this last few weeks proved, do you think, that the value of sticking with someone and allowing a manager to work things out and turn things around?
I think that's always going to be difficult. I think the nature of the game now, I think there's a real witch hunt for managers to lose their job. And I don't see that changing too much. It takes the strength of a board and people within the board to trust and support the manager. You know, it's increasing now even more that it feels like as a manager you can't have any, you know, downturn of results, or else the cry is to change. And football management is about peaks and troughs. It's never always going to be up there. You can never always move forward. Sometimes it's through whatever numbers of reasons. It takes that little bit of time to get going again. And so I don't think, because of the media coverage now and social media and everything, that it changes so much, but it just takes a lot of strength from owners to support. And like I say, you just have to really focus on your own work. And thankfully here, there's no mystery to it. You know, our results at the beginning of the season weren't good enough. Some of our performances were, but what we've now started to do is we've started to combine the consistency with our performance level, which has meant better results. And now we have a team that's operating at a really, really good level again. So, but it's still a long way to go in the season, and we want to go into our final game now and see if we can finish off how we've been over the last numbers of weeks.
And do some of your achievements in recent seasons feel relevant with the opponents this weekend, West Ham, in that you are the two clubs that have sort of gate crashed that big six, that it is incredibly difficult to break into that six, but it's even more difficult to stay there sometimes?
It is. It definitely is. You know the level of financial clout that some of the teams now have in the league is obviously huge. But yeah, but listen, for us, we've had a couple of fifth place finishes, finish eighth. We will always look to finish as high as we possibly can, and that'll be no different this season. It's been a tough start for us, but the players have showed a great mentality and a work ethic, and now they've got a real grit to match that, which is what you need at the very highest level. And I think West Ham, David's done a fantastic job there. You know, if you look at them this season, it's been difficult sometimes in terms of results in the Premier League. Why? He's having to introduce a lot of new players into the club, into the structure. Some players that have moved on, key influences. You think of Mark Noble, what a fantastic servant he has been to the club. You've got some players in natural decline. You know, that with the greatest respect, that happens to all players. There's a professional decline that happens. And of course then you have European football on top of that. So it doesn't surprise me sometimes in terms of the results that they will have because of all those factors. But what doesn't change is that David Moyes is a top manager, and he's proven that, and he's proven that with West Ham to where he's been able to take them over these last couple of seasons.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Cheers.
Hey, Brendan.
Okay, Pete, yeah.
Given that this time last week, James was probably reading that it was 50-50 at best, how did he take the news and how did he find out?
He was delighted. He had a missed call from Gareth just before we were probably ready to go out training. And I said to him just to pop into my office and go make the call privately. And he obviously spoke to Gareth and then came out full of the joy of the world. So it was great moment for him.
Good training session from him, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he was good, but the others were good as well.
All in all, how difficult has it been preparing your Premier League season, knowing that there was this looming gap and so many variants that can be thrown up because of it?
Listen, the planning for it started months back. I think we all knew that it was going to be a challenge, and probably over these last few weeks for most coaches and managers that's become more apparent with the nature of the games, and sadly seeing players being injured, not able to play in what is a dream moment for them. But in terms of preparation, we've all known where it was going to finish and what the break was going to look like, and we just prepare as normal, really.
Looking at this game yourself and West Ham, I mean, the stats between the two teams, there's little or nothing in it. So how do you see it going between two managers who both know how important it is to take 3 points into this massive break? Yeah, but listen, we'll just attack the game how we have been at recently. You know, I think we're scoring goals away from home. That resilience is back in the team again. Been hard to beat, which is important. And we go to West Ham expecting what we always do anytime we play them, home or away. A good side, with some really good players, and we know, like Everton and Wolves away in our last couple of games, we have to play well to win. But that's our idea, to go and attack the game, be aggressive in the game, and look to keep this momentum going. Cheers, Brandon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pete. We'll go to Colin from BBC Events.
Hi there. I just wonder, it's a natural break, and it's a chance, I guess, to put some things to bed. Is it something you might do emotionally, just kind of almost, it's so hard when you're in the middle of everything to process stuff, to almost process everything that's happened over the last 4 months, all those sort of highs and lows? Is that something you'll take the chance to do?
Well, certainly it's a nice chance to reflect and look back on this early part of the season, but it's also about moving forward as well. I think that's what's always key. as I said, the team's in a good place, got a good focus, and we know we've got a really exciting game to look forward to when we come back. But there'll be a lot of work to do in the off period. But yeah, it's always the mixture of both, reflecting on where we've been at, but more importantly, looking forward and preparing the team for the next challenges.
And you used to tell us, or you tell us, you're an optimist, you're a glass half full person when you sit here. But was there a point in the last few months when you had to almost pull yourself up a little bit and sort of look in the mirror a little bit and go, right, let's just plough on through this, and this is what I've got to work with now, and let's just go for it?
Well, I think I've said before, it's easy when you're winning. When you're winning FA Cups and doing well and whatever else. The true test of you is when you're not. But what's very important in those moments is that you lead, and you lead the team and you lead the club. So for me, it was natural. I think I've always said it. People have said about my patience and whatever else, but there's no other way around it. It's I knew the issues that we had, I knew the talent that we had, and I knew it was the case of them bringing it all together again and getting that organisation and getting that work ethic back in the team, and and it was just a matter of time, really. So, but no, I think that the one thing I said I've never lacked in my career has been resilience. I'm not a shouter or a baller or jump all over the place. I'm emotional about my own way, but my emotion is based around wanting the best for the club and the players here and the people here. So, and for that, I'll always trust myself to do the job. So, yeah, it's been a challenge, but it's been a great coaching challenge and managerial challenge, and that's what you want.
And just one on James finally, we can all see what he adds on the pitch. You've got the most experience of him. What does he add off the pitch as he goes into the England squad?
Personality, honesty, enthusiasm, passion, and just an all-round good man. I think he'll go away, he'll add a great maturity to the team, he'll will the players on, but he'll also be ready to impact games if he comes into a game or if he has the good fortune to start a game. But I think England have had a really, really top player who's been in form now for a couple of seasons, who's improved his game, developed his game. He's not one of these players that's broke into the Premier League and then because of everything that has happened or not happened, that he's just fell away. This is a man that's shown resilience and passion to keep fighting, keep working, and now he's in the squad, it won't stop. So, and also delighted for the supporters of England to know they have this ability there in the squad. I think it's great.
Fabulous, thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, we've got ready, Leicester.
Hi Brendan,
Hi,
hope you're okay. How is James Justin after he was stretchered off on Tuesday night?
Yeah, well, sadly he'll have an operation tonight. He's ruptured his Achilles, which is huge disappointment to us all. Having been out for a long time before and then coming back and getting back to his level, and obviously probably would have been close to Gareth's plans. So yeah, we were all hugely disappointed for him after the game, and that's obviously two players that we've lost to that, two top players this season. So he'll have his operation this evening, and then obviously it'll probably put him out for most of the season, but we'll see how he recovers and go on from there. But no, we wish him a speedy recovery, and such an important player for us in this early part of the season. So hopefully he can get back fitter and stronger.
How big a blow will that be for you, for the squad and for the players as well? Because one thing I noticed on Tuesday was when he went down, the whole squad kind of surrounded him and making sure that, or doing their best to make sure that he was okay. How big a blow will he be not having him available for a really long stretch now? Yeah,
it's a huge blow. As I said, he's the one player that I can really rely on him from a defensive perspective to do the job that I've want him to do. So from that, level. He's loved by his teammates because they see his honesty every day. They see how hard he works. And obviously from a personal level, we feel it for him because he has had a period out, and a long period, and having worked so hard to come back. Then to see him suffer again, it's not so nice. But he's a strong character, JJ. He'll go back. He was obviously saddened and disappointed what maybe the outcome was going to be, but already he's very optimistic, and it's one of his great strengths. He has a strong character, and he'll come back and be an even better player, I'm sure.
Just one more on the injury front on another fullback, is Ryan Bertrand. I know you said that he was going through his recovery a couple of months ago. How is he doing? How far away do you think he may be from coming back into your plans?
I think a bit of time away. I've got no immediate plans for Ryan. We'll see how he goes over this off period and assess it from there.
Do you have any other fresh concerns ahead of the weekend?
No, I think everyone else fine. Obviously, Johnny got through the game the other night, but we took off just as precaution, so he was okay. Wilf got through the game, a lot of the game, which was good, and no, apart from that, we're okay.
Good stuff. On James Maddison, I wonder for you what he may bring to the England squad that isn't already there. Is there one unique trait perhaps that he has that maybe isn't already in that England squad?
I think with James, it's full of talent, the England team in those attacking areas. I think what James has really developed over these last couple of seasons is his ability. Everyone talks about his favourite position, but James has played all across the front line in midfield and plays it to a really high level. You know, if you think of where he's been playing for me off the right side and how we've structured the team, he still always creates goals and score goals. When he plays on that side, he makes runs like a top winger. He can find the space. If he plays wide on the left side, he's got the cleverness and intelligence to find space. If he plays as an 8 or a 10, he's comfortable central. I think the one thing that he can do above a lot of players is he sees the forward pass. And for attacking players and for front players, that's something that's absolutely key. You know, he plays forward quickly. Lots of really good midfield players. They can conserve the ball and look after the ball, which is great. But if you're going to create goals and score goals, you need players that can take the risk and make the pass and see the pass, importantly. And he's a player that, with the view of the game, is fantastic. So, and listen, don't get me wrong, England have other players, of course, that have talents. But James has got a real special talent that can unlock tight games and tight defences, and he also can score goals.
Final one from me, Brendan, but obviously this is the last game coming up on Saturday before the World Cup. How important is it that you finish on a high in your view?
Well, we would like to and we want to. I think we've picked ourselves up over these last numbers of weeks from a difficult start. I think at least now you can see the identity returning to the team. And that's what we want. That work ethic, that organisation mixed in with the talent that we have. And you see Everton's a really tough place to go to get a result, but our performance level was very good on the evening, and like it's been for a number of weeks before that. So just got to keep it going. We can finish off with a really positive result, then it would allow us to go away in a much better mood than what we were 5-6 weeks ago.
Brendan, thank you very much. Best of luck
on
Saturday.
Thank you. Cheers.
Okay, before we finish, we'll just go to Dan from ITV. Sorry. So it's still under embargo at the moment.
Brendan, just a quick one on this weekend and James Maddison. How do you ensure, or do you even need to ensure, that he doesn't hold himself back ahead of the World Cup now with just one game to go?
Just knowing the player and knowing all the players I have here, just seeing their commitment. I don't think it's in their mindset. He's a competitive player. He wants to do well. So I've got no worries on that front.
And I just wonder, personally for you, with James Maddison, in these difficult times over a few weeks ago, how he stood up and helped this club through that period, how important that was for you?
Yeah, well, it was very important for the club, and like I said earlier, I think that it's when you're judged really is when it's not going your way, maybe as a team or a manager or whatever. That's when you look upon players and people to stand up, and James has done that consistently now for a long time. So I spoke often enough about his talent, but his personality and resilience as a man is clear also.
And just finally, you spoke about you had the joy of the world when he came out of that room. Can you add to that a little bit? Describe what he said, what he was like.
No, it's private what he said, but it's just happiness and I suppose relief as well, because I'm sure there'd all sorts of thoughts going through his mind, and sometimes how it's painted, it looked like it was swinging more against when if you listen and read certain stories. But in fairness to Gareth, he was, he's obviously been great with him. He's looked at it, with logic and seen a player that can really help the squad, and obviously gave him a call to stabilise James, because I'm sure, like I said, there was numbers of stories overnight that was maybe sounding like he wasn't going to make it. So it was really good management by Gareth to do that and stabilise him, and then get on with the rest of his job of naming the rest of the squad.
And James himself, when he left that room, what he was like?
Yeah, he was very happy.